Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. This is a common saying in the crypto space, and it actually resonates incredibly well when markets are at very interesting pivotal moments. Here we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin to see what's been going on most recently with BTC. Now, as I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. We do a lot more technical analysis, AMAs, and kind of generally just answer questions down in Discord. So why not go ahead, check it out. Links in the description down below. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find. Right, let's actually take a look at some analysis here on Bitcoin and what I think actually is going to happen next. Right, so we're going to start things off with Bitcoin on the hourly chart. We are using Binance as the data source for this. Now, as you can see, we've been analyzing Bitcoin for quite some time, right? And I think it's important that we kind of acknowledge several different things on here. But for the most part, it's messy, right? And I've seen some of the comments. It's hard to read, lots and lots of noise, etc. So we're just going to delete it all, right? And let's actually just start from a blank sheet here to kind of give you an idea as to what is going on. Okay, so it makes it a little bit easier to see with the recent moves, okay? But do understand that there's a lot of stuff that we've been looking at that leads us up to this point, okay? And yeah, we'll probably have to put a lot of it back later. Okay, cool. So let's start off with the recent kind of moves, right? We've seen a fair amount of volatility in here as we started to see this kind of impulsive move, and specifically yesterday, this kind of sideways trade, right? We've gone up a little bit higher than this point here, but for the most part, let me just map this out for you, so you can kind of see exactly what we're talking about. So essentially we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 just inside here. Okay, that kind of completes the micro movement. Now, in here, you'd expect to see some kind of ABC corrective move. It could be various different types of ABC, but you'd expect to see some kind of corrective. Okay, and that's exactly what we are seeing. Okay, this sideways trade right here, it is very much a corrective move. Okay, this means that we are more than likely going to push up on the smaller time frame. This is just the hourly chart. So basically, this has many names, so you might know it as a continuation pattern, as in we moved up, we go sideways in continuation, going up afterwards. Okay, so it's a continuation pattern. Goes sideways, and then you continue the trend that led into it. Okay. Alternatively, you could look at it from many different other angles, triangular wedge ascending triangles, whatever. But ultimately, if we actually take a look at it, we have a small corrective move just there, ABC, and then an ABC moving up, which actually was overextended but overlaps. So for the most part, it doesn't overly matter. Specifically, you can just map it out like this, for example. And then here we have a small kind of corrective move and probably some kind of wedge formation. So essentially, I think on a larger scale, we'll end up with this, how do I articulate it? This kind of double corrective move. It might be like an ABC esque, but like couple them together. I think they call this WX YXZ. Essentially, I'm not going to go into too many different letters on it. It just confuses things. But essentially, you'll end up with what appears to be this move down here. Probably get the double bottom in, and then we look for that next move upwards. Okay, so again, going to remove some of the noise from here. I think the main thing that we want to understand is that this here is corrective, and we will be looking for that push upwards. No targets are set just yet because we haven't actually started the move up yet. Okay, we are oversold on this hourly stochastic RSI, so the momentum behind the price has come all the way down as we get tighter into this little range just here, and we are more than likely going to have a real big push to the upside. So when we throw the volumes on here, you can see that the volume increased on our way up. Okay, that got us this impulsive move, and then it decreased. There's a little bit of fluctuation, but ultimately the volume is decreasing. Okay, the decrease in volume helps protect the price. Okay, we've actually pushed the price up even with that volume decreasing, and basically you're able to move the stochastic RSI down from an overbought area to an oversold area really quickly without damaging the price, which is fantastic. Okay, that's exactly what you want to see in these kind of corrective patterns. Okay, you want to keep the volumes nice and low. So that looks good. Now we want to increase the volumes as we increase the price, and as a result of that, we increase the stochastic RSI. Okay, so on the hourly chart, things like that are looking pretty good. However, when we start going up into the higher time frames, we need to be a little bit cautious. The 4-hourly stochastic RSI has come down a little bit. Now, this is okay. We can come back up into the overbought area as indicated with our hourly chart, but at some point this is going to be overbought again, and we will be looking for corrective action in the same way that we saw just up here when we were overbought and we pulled down towards our oversold area before this impulsive move. Okay, we don't have to have huge price fluctuations. We just need to see that stochastic RSI pull back down. Okay, now this can be articulated in many different ways, and people will interpret different words, or words differently, right? So when people say dump, some people might think that's a 60% drop. Scary. And other people might be thinking a dump, as being, maybe a little bit lean because they can read the charts. They think maybe that's a 10, 20%, right? The word itself has different meaning depending on who's reading it. Obviously, the YouTube game is to put out as many scary words as possible, or many, really positive words as possible, to try to get as many people to kind of get onto your video to watch your content, so that you can actually explain the situation to as many people as possible, right? So it's a horrible game, but unfortunately that is how YouTube works. So you kind of have the thumbnails and the titles to kind of get as many people to the video as possible, and once they're on the video, hopefully they'll actually understand the information that you're trying to convey, and stick around long term. So on this 4-hourly chart, we are looking for corrective moves. I'm not expecting a 60% drop or anything like that. A 10 to 20% drop is probably going to happen at some point, but not yet. I think we've got to go up first, so interesting stuff there. The 8-hour chart, again, is kind of already ahead of the curve with that. We're overbought, and we are thinking there's going to be a correction at some point here. We actually just zoomed out a little bit on this 8-hour chart. We've already moved up quite significantly here, okay, and we should be thinking about what happens next, okay, because ultimately we would be thinking about some kind of corrective pattern to play out here. Now we hadn't. I guess actually you could articulate that maybe that is an impulsive move to a degree, but I think it's a bit sloppy. But yeah, for the most part, we've moved up quite significantly. If we were to take this across several days, we've had a 12% push upwards just in this last few days from the 14th of March, right? If we zoomed out even further, we moved up, we pulled back, and this move is the one I'm expecting us to move up higher with, right? And here we obviously see we pushed up and then fell back down, right? But we are setting these higher lows, so that's all positive. But we do need to have a bit of a breakout event to kind of go higher. Specifically higher than this area here. So if we can go higher than, if I actually hover on this $42,600, for example, this will allow us to then basically say, yeah, we shouldn't really come down lower. We've kind of got that next move upwards. And again, I've been speaking about this for a while. The target on this move currently sits, if I grab this, right up there at about $49,000. We could, of course, fall short, and some of my longer term targets are actually looking more likely to be $47,500. Again, we can also take it from here to here. This is the low point as well of $32,000, by the way, guys. We transpose this one over to this low point, and we have that 47,500, okay, 47,800. So essentially what we were really talking about on these larger time frames is this big play here that takes us out to that 47.5, okay, and then there's this micro play just in here, which is up, down, and goes up into this range as well. Of course, until we break some of these resistances, it also works the other way. We should consider, potential down moves. Now, personally, I don't think that is a problem, but it is something that we should consider. So we could consider and articulate that we are actually on a downward move until broken here. So that importance of this area, right, which is that 42,600, is that it would invalidate this move. We come down, we bounced up, and we come down lower. Okay, so in order to avoid this, like, you know, $36,000 range, we need to go higher than $42,600. Okay, we do that, and that low point is invalidated. Likewise, there's also an alternative, which would be that we count that up, and then you know, rather than this being your ABC upwards, you actually have an A wave down, a B wave up, and then a C wave that comes down again into those lower ranges, maybe a double bottom here of $32,000. But for that to be invalidated, we have to move past 45,200, right? So if we do these two things, right, if we move past 42,600, and if we move past the high points of 45,200, essentially we're saying that actually there's a highest probability, and the highest outcome here is $47,500 to $49,000, right? So essentially that's what we're talking about. But there are some obvious caveats to this, right? Obviously, it's not going to be straight lines in these directions. There's going to be small mini corrections on that route, on that journey, okay? And those are opportunities if you choose to see it that way. And on this 8-hourly chart, we're seeing such an opportunity potentially presenting itself in the near future. Okay, we're overbought. We need to go into oversold before we can really talk about moving up into these higher areas. Therefore, some kind of short corrective move is likely and is probable in the very near future. The daily is also indicating a very similar scenario. We're already overbought, and we should be thinking about corrective action in order to allow us to continue the growth to the upside longer term. Okay, and obviously once we kind of go up into these high areas, new wave counts will have to appear, and we'll have to get a good idea as to what they're indicating to us, etc. But for now, we should be thinking small corrective action, and that will then allow us to grow continuously up towards these next few milestones for Bitcoin. And then, you know, I think all of this leads us into road of recovery, roads up to new all-time highs. As I said previously, the weekly chart, the monthly chart, they're looking very, very good. We're in some kind of complex corrective flat correction, I think, here on the weekly chart. As in we have this, right? It's origin, $65,000. We pulled down $28,000. We pushed up to $69,000, which is higher than origin. And the B wave and the C wave pulls back down and ends higher than the A wave. Flat, a running flat correction here. Now, the alternative is that it's an expanding flat correction in the same way that Cardano has had an expanding flat correction. And this would be unfortunate, but it would basically sell you, $25,000, $26,000 Bitcoin. The problem with this is I don't think the momentum on the monthly chart or the weekly chart is going to allow for it just yet. So it's possible, but right now I'm not thinking it's probable unless some of that data changes. So guys, that's kind of what I'm seeing with Bitcoin right now. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.